Night in the Amazon is a geometry of silence broken by sudden impact. Along the margins, where forest and water dissolve into one another, the jaguar's domain begins, not in the open, but at the thin seams of uncertainty, mud lips, half-submerged logs, and overhanging banks that hide a predator's patience. The camera drifts low, just above the mirror of Blackwater. Moonlight slides between giant buttress roots, silvering the surface. In the reflection, the canopy trembles with insects and frogs, each sound triangulated in the jaguar's mind like coordinates on a map. It moves unseen, a ripple within a ripple. This is a hunter built for edges. The jaguar's entire anatomy, stocky limbs, compressed skull, wide zygomatic arches, is an equation optimized for sudden force rather than pursuit. It doesn't chase, it waits, measures, then collapses the distance in an instant. Every night it traces a patrol along micro-edges of the riverbank, places where capybaras descend to drink or caimans bask half-exposed, lulled by the deceptive stillness of water. The big cat's whiskers sweep outward, brushing the humid air, registering the faintest tremor on the meniscus. It listens not for sound, but for pattern disruption, the tiny surface ripple of something breathing wrong. The geometry begins long before the strike. Each approach is a lesson in terrain physics. Jaguars favor overhanging banks where mud has collapsed into a soft ledge, forming natural launch ramps. The forepaws dig into clay, claws splayed wide like crampons. The grip is deliberate. Wet mud compresses, offering temporary traction, but too much weight and the edge caves. So the jaguar distributes pressure through the wrist bones, lowering its center of gravity until its body aligns with the slope. To the camera's thermal eye, its muscles glow, scapular bundles twitching, rear limbs coiled like hydraulics. Even its breathing adjusts, diaphragm steady, ribcage held still to prevent a single leaf from betraying motion. Then the lunge. Slow motion reveals a system of counterforces. Tail whipping down as the front quarters explode forward, the cat converting potential energy from tension to trajectory. Its body clears the bank in a single bound. Impact is not a collision, but an intersection of predicted paths. Capybaras lower their heads to drink in a consistent arc. Caimans float with only nostrils and eyes above the line. The jaguar calculates this repetition instinctively, mapping habitual motion into predictable jaw paths. The attack strikes not where prey is, but where it will be in 0.2 seconds. When the jaws close, the force is enough to puncture skull through temporal bone. No other cat bites like this. Tigers and lions target throats for suffocation. The jaguar aims for the head, where the kill is instant and risk minimized. The leverage of its short, massive jaw and thick canines, proportionally the strongest bite in any big cat, turns bone to splinters. In capybaras, it often bites from above, driving downward between the ears. But when the prey is armored, like a caiman, the strategy changes. Here the jaguar strikes from behind, jaws anchoring at the base of the skull where vertebrae meet. It knows the hinge point of life by touch alone. The aftermath is as precise as the attack. Dragging a carcass through mud requires calculation. Clay resists traction, but water buoyancy reduces weight by nearly 60%. The jaguar exploits this, pulling diagonally upslope, shifting body position every few meters to distribute load. Each paw leaves a splayed print, toes digging deep, dew claw scraping grooves that mark direction. In daylight, these traces form a cartography of motion, a record of effort, of success. Local guides read them like text. They can tell whether the cat killed in water or dragged from land, whether it fed alone or was interrupted. By dawn, the riverbank bears only equations of absence. Displaced mud, a few crushed ferns, the clean scythe of tail print. Yet the jaguar's patrol resumes again with methodical repetition. Every edge is tested, revisited, adjusted. Moon phase alters strategy. Under a full moon, reflection betrays approach, so the cat stays deeper in shade or hunts downstream where glare is fractured by current. In new moon darkness, it takes advantage of invisibility, following scent trails along sandbars where prey footprints glow pale in residual moisture. Even water height dictates patrol logic. Rising levels erase scent and soften clay, forcing the jaguar onto fallen trunks or elevated roots that act as causeways through flooded forest. During dry season, the same roots harden into corridors of cracked mud, exposing footprints to every creature that dares cross. Each variable, light, height, texture, feeds a constantly updated map inside the jaguar's sensory brain. Its whiskers, technically called vibrissae, are pressure sensors connected to a dense network of mechanoreceptors. They measure airflow and turbulence, letting the cat read motion before it hears it. Experiments with high-speed imaging show that these whiskers flicker microscopically as the cat breathes, sampling air vibrations much like sonar pings. The result is an almost three-dimensional awareness of nearby space, an invisible geometry extending around its head. In the silence before attack, this system is the jaguar's radar. Water magnifies that power. On calm nights, even a fish's surface break sends radial ripples across the black water, and those ripples are decoded by the cat's whiskers into distance and size. Biologists believe this sensory adaptation is what allows jaguars to time their lunges with such precision, even when visibility is near zero. It's not sight guiding them, it's fluid dynamics. Yet this perfection has limits. A misjudged step can turn predator into prey. The same clay that aids traction can liquefy under pressure, collapsing into the current. A caiman's counterattack, if it comes, targets the legs, snapping bone before the cat can regain footing. That is why jaguars often strike from higher banks, where they can fall forward rather than downward, using gravity as insurance. Each kill zone is rehearsed by experience. Older cats carry a mental archive of where footing holds, where logs are slick, where eddies betray submerged roots. These spatial memories outlast seasons. Even when floods erase the physical landscape, the pattern remains in neural maps. As the camera drifts with morning mist, the jaguar emerges again, wet, shoulders rolling, eyes amber under the low light. It pauses beside a half-submerged trunk, sniffing the bark where other predators have passed. Jaguars are solitary, yet their territories overlap in layered rhythms. Male patrols cutting through female ranges, intersecting only briefly during mating. To us, it looks like random wander. To the cat, it's network maintenance. Every scent mark, every scratch is a data point reaffirming ownership of this complex grid of edges. A single patrol may cover 10 kilometers of riverbank, yet every curve and pool has meaning, a recurring note in a larger symphony of survival. Daylight changes the language of movement. The cat becomes more visual, relying less on whisker signals and more on contrast and shadow. Heat builds, insects drone, and the river becomes a stage for thermoregulation as much as hunting. Jaguars will often lie half-submerged, cooling their body through conduction while remaining invisible beneath floating vegetation. The skin of the muzzle ripples slightly as water currents flow past, The same sensitivity that detects prey now doubles as a thermal gauge. Even in rest, the geometry continues. Temperature gradients, buoyancy shifts, refraction lines through water and air. Nothing in its world is static. By late afternoon, the forest turns gold, and the same edges that hid the hunter now reveal traces of its work. Capybara herds avoid certain bends, steering toward shallower entries. Caimans haul out earlier, preferring sandbars with wider sightlines. Prey learns, adapts, and so does the jaguar. This arms race of geometry never ends. Evolution has fused physics and instinct into a single organism, a predator that doesn't just strike, but calculates the river itself. Night returns, and with it, the pattern restarts. The jaguar crouches again at the lip of the river, head low, eyes fixed on the mirror of Blackwater. Its reflection stares back, a phantom of perfect symmetry. Somewhere beyond, a ripple disturbs the calm. Muscles tighten. The bank shifts slightly beneath its paws, and in that heartbeat of tension, every law of motion, every line of geometry, every survival equation collapses into one silent, perfect leap. The waterline in the Amazon is an illusion. To the untrained eye, it seems like a simple boundary, air above, water below. But for the caiman, that line is a weapon. From this razor edge of existence, the hunter disappears not by hiding behind something, but by becoming geometry itself, a fragment of the horizon, half real, half reflection. Only two dark points, the nostrils and a pair of amber orbs, betray life. Everything else is a mirage born from refraction, ripples, and stillness. At night, under the uneven shimmer of starlight, a frog watches from a floating leaf. Its field of view is small, low to the surface, a film of tension holding its reflection. At this scale, distance is treacherous. Light bends through air, through the thin membrane of water, and the brain misreads space. A head that seems a meter away might be only 30 centimeters. The caiman knows this. Evolution has tuned its patience to exploit optical error. It doesn't need speed to win, it only needs the frog to miscalculate once. From above, birds share the same deception. Herons, jacanas, and kingfishers hunt at this junction, peering through glare. To them, the waterline is an unstable mirror. The caiman's skin, mottled, brown-green and rough as bark, reflects just enough light to break its outline. Even when visible, the brain struggles to assign scale. The animal could be a branch, a root, or a ripple. What the frog or bird perceives as harmless background is a precise configuration of camouflage, horizontal symmetry between the head's top ridge and the mirrored horizon. The 1 meter rule defines this world. Most ambushes occur within a meter of shore, a zone where sound, vibration, and scent converge. Here, everything that drinks, lands, or calls risks the strike zone. The caiman's entire strategy is built around this physics of proximity. Its head lies level with the surface, jaw barely parted, nostrils lifted by valves that close underwater. Every few minutes it exhales softly, bubbles rising like a sigh, then vanishes again beneath the sheen. The surface pressure waves. This creates spread outward, returning information. Each ripple that touches reeds, roots, or fallen leaves carries back distortion, mapping distance. To the caiman's jaw sensors, tiny pits called integumentary sensory organs, these distortions are language. They feel the world through water. Beneath the skin of the snout, thousands of pressure-sensitive cells register micro-vibrations, rain impacts, insect landings, even the pulse of swimming fish. Laboratory recordings have shown these receptors respond to displacements smaller than a micrometer. The Caiman interprets the wavefronts like a sonar operator. When the pressure signature is regular, it's background noise. When it carries rhythm, a footfall, awing beat, it becomes target data. The strike begins long before muscles move. Timing depends not on sight, but on the exact moment when converging wave patterns indicate a body entering the danger zone. From the frog's viewpoint, nothing changes. A whisper of water near the reed line, a tremor that might be wind. But at the surface, just below the threshold of visibility, the caiman's limbs shift. The tail arches slightly, body buoyancy adjusted by a controlled lung deflation. Air leaves in increments, trimming its depth until eyes and nostrils alone remain. The strike trigger is electrical, a single neural pulse from midbrain to trunk muscles. The water explodes upward, and in that eruption, geometry collapses. For the camera, slowed to 500 frames per second, the sequence is a miracle of physics. The jaws open before the head rises, minimizing drag. Water slides along the cranial ridges like rails, parting in sheets that reveal the mouth's interior, pale flesh, teeth curved backward like white hooks. The initial thrust is not forward but upward and slightly back, compensating for prey reaction time. When the jaws close, acceleration peaks at over 12 G, roughly the same as a bullet leaving a handgun. There is no struggle, only silence returning as the surface heals. By day, the caiman's predation is rarer but equally orchestrated. Sunlight turns water into a lens. Heat, shimmer, blurs outlines. The caiman uses this optical noise to drift closer without movement. Even the act of breathing is minimized, 1 inhalation per minute, exhaled in bubbles that merge with surface glare. Birds wade within arm's reach, yet hesitate to strike. They sense the wrongness of stillness, but can't decode it. The caiman holds, eyes shielded by a transparent nictitating membrane that filters light and protects against glare. Through that film, the world appears dimmer, slower, perfect for judging refraction angles. Certain shorelines amplify its success. Concave coves, where sound waves bounce inward, concentrate prey activity. Root tangles create labyrinths of escape routes that end abruptly. When floodwaters recede, small fish and amphibians get trapped in these depressions. The caiman remembers them. Its brain, though small, carries a spatial memory strong enough to navigate complex territories year after year. During dry season, it returns to these trap pools, bodies half buried in cracked clay, lying still until thirst drives victims near. At dusk, as the pool's edge softens, the ambush resets. But during the flood months, strategy reverses. The forest becomes a drowned labyrinth. The caiman no longer guards edges. It becomes the edge itself, drifting among submerged trunks and floating leaf mats. It uses slow currents as conveyor belts, conserving energy by aligning its body with flow. Each minute change in water pressure across its flanks informs direction. Even without sight, it can maintain course through opaque blackwater. This is drift hunting, an art of letting the river deliver opportunity. Fish fleeing oxygen-poor shallows, rodents swimming between trees, even birds forced to land on floating debris all become potential meals. In these months, vision loses meaning. Instead, the caiman relies on a choreography of touch and vibration. When a creature swims nearby, its motion displaces water. The caiman's sensors triangulate the source. Strike range decreases, but accuracy increases. The world is closer, denser, full of signals. Each attack becomes an equation solved through fluid mechanics. Wave amplitude, delay time, and distance collapse into a single muscular impulse. The simplicity of the ambush hides its sophistication. A caiman's skull is an engineering marvel, dense bone fused with air cavities that reduce weight yet absorb shock. When jaws close, the leverage point is behind the eyes, allowing enormous crushing force without self-injury. This design also improves sound conduction underwater. Vibrations travel through the bone to inner ear structures tuned for both air and liquid transmission. The predator hears the world in stereo, above and below at once. Temperature also governs behavior. Being ectothermic, caimans depend on external heat. Morning finds them basking with mouths open, thermoregulating through evaporative cooling. This posture, often mistaken for aggression, is physiology in action. Their dark skin absorbs heat efficiently, but without regulation they risk overheating. The balance between hunting readiness and thermal safety defines their daily rhythm. Too cold and muscle contraction slows. Too warm and oxygen demand outpaces supply. Hence the ambush often shifts to twilight when thermal equilibrium aligns with sensory precision. Viewed from above by drone, the river system reveals repeating motifs, meanders, oxbows, pools, each a potential hunting stage. Yet the true battleground lies within that 1 meter fringe of life and death. Every mammal, bird, and amphibian that drinks must enter it, breaking the invisible plane of safety. The caiman's patience is generational. Young learn by imitation, shadowing adults, mimicking surfacing patterns, even practicing lung control near shallow edges. Survival is taught through stillness. Over millennia, this discipline has sculpted both predator and prey. Frogs have evolved lateral lines on their skin to detect the same pressure changes caimans use. Birds adjust landing angles to avoid reflection traps. Each species refines perception in response to the same illusion, the half-hidden horizon. Yet despite the arms race, the caiman continues to win by mastering misdirection. Its greatest strength is not stealth alone, but an understanding etched by evolution of how light, water, and perception conspire to lie. As dusk descends, the river returns to mirror mode. Cicadas thrum, and the first bats flicker over the surface. A single pair of eyes drifts between reflections of stars and trees, their glow merging with the constellations above. For a moment, it's impossible to tell where the animal ends and the river begins. The horizon has swallowed itself, and the hunter is simply another equation of stillness waiting for motion to break it. Somewhere, within 1 meter of shore, a mistake will soon be made. The border between land and water is usually a dead end. For most animals, it's where speed dissolves into drag, where air's freedom turns to fluid resistance. But in the tangled floodplain of the Amazon, one reptile has rewritten that law. The basilisk lizard, small, bright-eyed, and impossibly quick, turns the very surface of a river into a bridge of motion. Its escape isn't about strength, it's about timing, pressure, and audacity. In this world of predators that crush, coil, or ambush, the basilisk survives by doing what none of them can. It runs straight across the border and keeps going. Morning light filters through vine curtains, sketching ripples across the black water. On a half-sunken log, a young basilisk waits, still as the bark beneath its feet. Its scales shimmer faintly, catching heat that radiates through the mist. The jungle hums with the low pulse of insects and hidden frogs. Somewhere upriver, a splash breaks rhythm. A hunting fish, maybe. or worse. The lizard tilts its head, eyes rotating forward, gauging distance. When the threat becomes too near, instinct takes command. The basilisk drops, legs coiling like springs. In the fraction of a heartbeat before impact, it knows only one direction: away. To the camera's high-speed lens, the escape is a choreography of physics. The first slap of the hind foot against water creates a cavity, an air pocket, before the surface collapses. Each toe, fringed with skin flaps, spreads wide to maximize drag. The motion is downward, not backward. Lift, not push, is what matters. For a few milliseconds, the lizard's weight is supported by a pocket of trapped air. Then the foot withdraws before the hole fills, and the next step repeats the cycle. Step, slap, lift, 20 times per second. Across 3 or 4 meters, the river briefly becomes solid ground. Behind the lizard, a small wake forms, a zigzag of collapsing air pockets and tiny whirlpools. The camera following from a log-mounted rig shows the precision of its stride. Not random, not desperate, but tuned to the rippled rhythm of the surface. The optimal run begins where water meets structure, near roots and riffles, where turbulence supports partial lift. Here, the surface tension is broken but elastic, helping the lizard's feet rebound like springs. Too smooth and drag increases, too choppy and the rhythm fails. Each footfall lands just ahead of the crest of a microwave, leveraging its upward push. But the miracle has limits. On sections where algae film coats the surface, the air pockets collapse faster. The foot slides instead of slaps, sinking half a centimeter deeper. At those points, you can see the lizard's body pitch forward, arms windmilling to regain balance. Leaf rafts are worse, soft mats that promise solidity but yield instantly. Juveniles sometimes misread these cues, stepping on floating debris that caves beneath them. When that happens, the escape becomes a swim, and the margin between survival and predation narrows to seconds. River snakes wait for these errors, heads rising through the water like drawn spears. A side-mounted underwater camera captures the physics below. Each slap sends a plume of bubbles downward and sideways. The lizard's footpath resembles a shallow cone, force vectors angled backward at about 70 degrees. The pressure wave travels faster than the lizard moves, creating a trail of disruption that can confuse pursuing predators. For a chasing snake, this chaos of sound and motion masks direction. By the time it corrects, the basilisk is gone, clinging to the opposite bank's roots, chest heaving, throat pulsing. Adults rarely attempt long crossings. They're heavier, and the energy cost is high. Each step must displace roughly twice their body weight in water. For them, running on water is a last resort. Juveniles, however, seem almost reckless. They test the limits daily, sprinting 6 or 7 meters across open channels. Biologists think this behavior serves dual purposes: escape practice and dispersal. Young basilisks face heavy predation from herons, snakes, and even larger lizards. The ability to cross narrow streams expands their refuge range, allowing access to isolated islets or sun patches inaccessible to heavier competitors. In the arithmetic of survival, risk now buys safety later. From a physics standpoint, the act is barely possible. Each step requires maintaining a minimum velocity, roughly 1.5 meters per second, for the air cavity to sustain body weight. Drop below that, and the lizard sinks. The transition from run to swim is abrupt but controlled. Its hind legs change stroke pattern within a single beat, switching from vertical slaps to horizontal paddles. It doesn't panic. The shift is mechanical, encoded in muscle memory. Where a mammal might drown in confusion, the basilisk simply changes operating mode. Filming the event from multiple perspectives reveals subtle environmental tuning. The lizards prefer to launch from shaded banks, where the water is cooler and denser, providing slightly better resistance. Sunlit shallows, warmed by direct heat, soften the surface tension just enough to increase failure rates. Wind direction also matters. Downstream breeze flattens ripples, removing natural stepping points. In laboratory simulations, success rates drop sharply on perfectly smooth water surfaces. The lizard's design, light bones, long hind limbs, and elongated toes relies on micro-texture. Without it, the air pockets collapse too fast. In essence, the basilisk doesn't conquer water. It cooperates with its imperfections. High-speed footage from cameras clipped to floating logs gives an almost participant view. You see the world at the lizard's eye level, flashes of reflection, arcs of spray, the blur of its own tail counterbalancing momentum. The sound, slowed down, becomes a staccato rhythm. Slap, hiss, slap, hiss, the music of defiance. In real time, it's over in less than 2 seconds. But each crossing tells a story of micro-decisions: launch angle, step cadence, distance to shore, threat vector behind. The brain computes all this through instinct, not thought. Reflex circuits in the spinal cord trigger muscle groups faster than conscious processing ever could. This is evolution's automation. Millions of years of survival encoded in electrical reflex. The border itself, the physical line between land and water, defines everything about the basilisk's ecology. Unlike the caiman that waits within it, or the jaguar that hunts across it, the lizard's life depends on crossing it. Each side offers what the other lacks. Land provides basking sites and egg-laying grounds. Water offers escape routes and humidity regulation. The lizard's metabolism is a balance between sun and shade, heat and cool. During midday, it climbs vines that arch over creeks, resting just above the surface. If threatened, it simply drops, runs, and vanishes. The river becomes not a trap, but an exit ramp. There is elegance in the cost-benefit calculus of its movement. Running on water burns enormous energy. Oxygen debt rises, lactic acid builds, muscle fibers fatigue quickly. But compared to a straight sprint on land, the gain is clear. Land routes are predictable and two-dimensional. Predators anticipate trajectories. The river, by contrast, resets the rules. A snake cannot match the lizard's vertical acceleration out of water, nor can it turn sharply during pursuit. The surface becomes a no-turn lane, forcing predators to commit. Once a chase begins, the basilisk already knows its victory line, the opposite shore. Researchers studying this phenomenon have tried to replicate it mechanically. Robotic prototypes, tiny machines with paddle-like feet, can manage a few steps before sinking. The secret lies in the precise interplay of stride frequency, foot area, and body mass. Any deviation breaks the balance. For the basilisk, these parameters are fine-tuned through growth. Juveniles, lighter and proportionally longer-legged, achieve higher stride frequencies. Adults compensate with increased surface slap velocity. It's a dynamic scaling problem solved biologically, not by design, but by the relentless filtering of natural selection. As the day matures, the forest thickens with humidity. Cicadas pulse like hidden engines. Near the water's edge, a male basilisk displays, raising its crest, extending its dewlap, body vibrating in territorial tremor. The river reflects its movement, a mirror of dominance. Moments later, a shadow glides above. A hawk. The display freezes mid-motion, muscles tense, tail twitches. A single leaf detaches nearby, striking the surface with a small plop. In that split-second distraction, the hawk dives. The lizard leaps forward, lands on the water, and runs, a green streak scattering droplets into gold. The predator's claws slice only air. When the ripples settle, the basilisk is already clinging to a buttress root across the channel, chest heaving, safe once again. As dusk settles, the border regains its quiet illusion. The river surface smooths into bronze glass, reflecting the first stars. Beneath that stillness lies the unseen archive of survival, the slap marks fading, bubbles bursting, wavelets dying. Somewhere, a juvenile practices again, shorter legs drumming out the ancient rhythm of escape. The law of edges holds for nearly every creature here. Step too far and the river takes you. But for one lizard, that law was never a limit. The basilisk has learned to live between worlds, its freedom measured not by territory, but by the split second it spends running where no solid ground exists. On water, across the border, between certainty and fall. The sound of the Amazon River at dawn is not silence but pulse, a shifting breath that moves through reeds, sandbars, and the glossy surface of water that hides a world below. From a distance, the smooth back of a caiman drifts like a log. The hum of cicadas merges with the drone of unseen frogs. Then, a sudden ripple breaks the calm, followed by another. A trail of bubbles rises in a line that bends and reforms like handwriting on the water's skin. Moments later, brown heads surface in unison, sleek, watchful, and utterly synchronized. The family of giant otters has arrived, and the hunt is about to begin. Each otter's body gleams with wet bronze under the low sun, water sheeting off fur so dense it traps air like armor. The air whistles as they exhale through nostrils and blow out bubbles in deliberate bursts. To the camera, it looks like play, but the choreography has purpose. This is not random movement, but signal. A language of flow and sound that coordinates position before the strike. The family, sometimes numbering 6 or 8, fans out into a crescent just off the shoreline. In the center, smaller juveniles hover uncertainly, their movements nervous but eager. Around them, adults take positions with practiced precision, 2 near the reed wall, 2 circling wide, 1 farther out acting as lookout. From above, their pattern is geometric, a semicircle of motion pressing toward the bank. Beneath the surface, an invisible drama unfolds. Schools of carachins and small cichlids shimmer in panic, compressed between the otter's advance and the hard barrier of vegetation. The goal is compression, to herd a 3-dimensional fluid swarm into a flat sheet where confusion becomes trap. Each otter contributes to the illusion of closing space. Their tails flick in coordinated arcs, stirring microcurrents that shepherd fish into a tighter radius. Then come the bubble curtains, exhaled lines of air released in bursts to push prey upward. What appears playful from above is strategy refined by generations, a way to manipulate fish behavior through fear and physics. The lead female gives a high-pitched chirp, short, staccato, distinct. The others respond instantly. Communication among giant otters is among the most complex in any carnivore. Over a dozen distinct call types have been identified, each modulated by tone and rhythm. The hunt drive call is rhythmic and urgent. The alert note sharpens pitch when danger nears. These sounds carry above and below the water, bouncing off reed walls and sandbars. Even glare lines, The shifting gold-white reflections on the surface play into their method. Otters position themselves so the sun strikes the water at low angles, blinding fish that orient toward brightness. Herding becomes not just spatial but optical, a control of light as much as movement. When the school tightens against structure, chaos begins. One otter dives from below, rising through the cluster with explosive speed. Water flashes silver with scattering fish. Another sweeps from the side, jaws snapping, sending vibrations that redirect the survivors toward the next ambusher. The group works in a feedback loop, adjusting angle and depth every few seconds. Success depends on stamina and communication. Each dive lasts between 30 and 45 seconds, limited by oxygen storage in blood and muscle. Adult otters can manage nearly a minute underwater, but efficiency, not endurance, wins the hunt. Every second underwater burns oxygen reserves, so coordination ensures that effort is shared. When one surfaces, another dives to maintain pressure. In slow motion you can see the transition, an otter exhaling as it breaks the surface, inhaling sharply before submerging again. The rhythm repeats, seamless, like synchronized swimmers bound by instinct rather than choreography. Aerial drones reveal the full circle tightening, a vortex of mammals around a dwindling patch of thrashing silver. When the kill finally happens, the surface boils with spray. The noise carries across the bay, sharp splashes, squeals, chirps of triumph. For a moment, the energy releases in chaos, then fades again to focus. The family regroups, forming a loose raft, each adult sharing pieces with the cubs. Feeding is noisy, social, and ritualized. Cubs chew clumsily at small fragments, while adults strip fish with surgical precision, their canines flashing white against wet scales. Between bites, they groom, cleaning each other's fur to restore its vital air seal. Without constant maintenance, the waterproofing breaks down and cold water seeps to the skin. For these otters, insulation is life. Unlike seals or dolphins, they lack blubber. Their defense is density. Up to 60,000 hairs per square centimeter trap a film of air so effective that water never reaches skin. When they dive, the film shimmers as silver light across their flanks, a visible signature of survival. But the shoreline offers more than fish. It offers conflict. As the group feeds, a pair of eyes rises from the shallows, a caiman drawn by scent and sound. The otters notice immediately. Their posture changes from fluid to rigid, heads lifted high, tails stiff. A sharp, rasping bark cuts the air, a collective alarm. They form a line, presenting their bodies broadside. It's not just aggression, it's optics. Larger appearance discourages attack. The caiman hesitates, caught between instinct and caution. Otters are small compared to it, but they hunt in teams, and a group can wound or even kill a reptile many times their size. The standoff lasts only seconds. The caiman slides backward, eyes sinking beneath the reflection. The otters, satisfied, resume feeding but keep one adult stationed at the edge. Sentinel duty never ends. Shallow bays, where this drama plays out, are more than hunting grounds. They are classrooms. It's here that cubs learn the art of the herd, how to circle, how to read ripple geometry, how to use bubble curtains to control prey. Adults deliberately choose these safe coves for training because the stakes are lower, water depth allows quick resurfacing, and escape routes are plenty. Observations show that mothers lead practice hunts on small fish schools even when not hungry, reinforcing motor skills through repetition. Cubs imitate, diving too early, blowing bubbles in the wrong direction, startling the fish they're meant to trap. Adults tolerate the clumsiness. In time, reflex replaces play, and instinct crystallizes into precision. As the day heats, the hunt pauses. The otters haul onto a sandbar, their fur steaming in the sun. They sprawl in tangled heaps, chests rising in synchronized rhythm, whiskers twitching in dreams. The camera closes in on one adult's face. Scars trace its muzzle, a record of years defending territory and kin. For these animals, survival is collective. Solitary otters exist, but they are anomalies, exiles or wanderers searching for a group to join. The family unit is fortress and engine both, a lineage that shares food, defense, and language. In this cooperative model, dominance doesn't depend on size but contribution. Those that lead hunts or guard cubs most effectively shape the group's rhythm. Evening arrives with a change of light. The sun lowers, throwing bronze over the river's skin. The otters stir again, sliding into the water, their movements effortless after hours of rest. The bay echoes with their contact calls, deep, rolling ha notes that identify individuals. Each voice is distinct, allowing recognition even across distances. To human ears, it's chatter. To the family, it's coordination, the acoustic glue that holds the hunt together. They vanish into deeper channels, shadows merging with reflection, bubble trails marking where they've been. Underwater, their world is all motion and sound. Every fin beat of a fleeing fish, every swirl of silt is a message. The otters use these cues to map targets in real time, moving faster than human eyes could track. Their lungs, adapted for flexibility, collapse partially under pressure, reducing buoyancy and allowing smoother glide. Blood chemistry shifts as oxygen is drawn from reserves bound in muscle, not air. This physiological ballet enables repeated dives without fatigue. Where humans would gasp, they resurface laughing, their breath an element of play and precision intertwined. Night falls, and the river mirrors the stars. The family gathers near their den, a burrow in a mudbank laced with roots. The cubs tumble into the entrance, whining softly, while adults patrol the perimeter one last time. Across the dark water, distant eyes gleam. Another caiman perhaps, or a jaguar scouting the shoreline. But for now, the bay is theirs. The hunt has fed them, the cubs have learned, and the circle of sound and motion resets for tomorrow. Here, at the meeting of land and water, the giant otter embodies the logic of teamwork in a world ruled by solitude. Where other predators rely on stealth or ambush, they rely on precision in numbers. Their strategy turns the chaos of a river into organized geometry, converting three-dimensional schools into two-dimensional surrender. They are, in every sense, the wolves of the shoreline, swift, intelligent, social engineers of the floodplain. And as the night deepens and the forest hum fades to heartbeat rhythm, their last call carries over the still water, a reminder that in the Amazon, unity itself can be the ultimate weapon. At the margins of the Amazon's backwaters, where sunlight turns the shallows into liquid bronze, an invisible hunter lies waiting. The water barely covers an ankle, clear enough to see the glint of pebbles beneath. But something is missing from the scene. A patch of sand looks slightly different, its grains arranged in subtle concentric swirls. Beneath that soft geometry rests a stingray, flattened to perfection, hidden not by distance or shadow, but by physics itself. Here, invisibility is not magic, it's sediment management. The camera sinks toward the bottom, meeting a creature that looks more like landscape than life. The stingray's body is a living disc of cartilage, muscle and electroreceptors, an organism that has merged form with function so completely it barely needs to move. Its pectoral fins undulate in slow, synchronized pulses, pushing fine silt upward into suspension. These motions don't betray its presence, they conceal it. Each pump creates a thin cloud that drifts back down like dust in still air, coating the ray's upper surface. Within seconds, its body becomes an extension of the riverbed, a patch of sand with eyes. Only the faint rise and fall of water over its spiracles betrays breath. The physics of concealment here is precise. The ray never buries itself deep. Total burial would limit oxygen intake and blur its vision. Instead, it maintains a film of silt only a few millimeters thick, enough to break light reflection and scatter outlines. The camouflage is so refined that even trained observers scanning from just a meter above often miss it until it moves. The tannin-stained water amplifies the deception. Every leaf fragment, every ripple of brown-gold light echoes the pattern of the stingray's mottled skin. It is not so much hidden as statistically indistinguishable from the substrate. In the shallows, turbidity becomes ally. When the wind picks up or a wader disturbs the bottom, visibility collapses into a milky haze. For fish, this is confusion. For the stingray, it is opportunity. Its sensory advantage does not depend on sight, but on touch, specifically on the electric whispers that travel through water. Across its underside lies a dense network of ampullae of Lorenzini, jelly-filled pores tuned to detect the faint bioelectric fields of living things. A catfish brushing sand, a crab shifting grains, even the pulse of a human ankle all register as localized voltage gradients. Through these signals, the ray perceives shape and motion with astonishing clarity, constructing a map of its surroundings in pure current. When prey enters range, the stillness dissolves. The ray's body flexes like a sheet in the wind. A single surge of its fins sends a shockwave of displaced water across the bottom, stunning small fish or shrimp and pinning them in a momentary vacuum. The mouth, hidden on the underside, sucks downward with piston speed, drawing sand and prey alike into its jaws. The entire sequence lasts less than half a second. What remains above is calm water and a faint puff of silt that quickly resettles, erasing evidence of the attack. These ambushes are most common in early morning, when sunlight angles low across the surface and the water temperature is just beginning to rise. During the dry season, when rivers recede and expose broad beaches of firm sand, stingrays exploit the new terrain. They move into ankle-deep water, hunting in zones that larger fish abandon. For humans, this overlap creates risk. Fishermen and locals know the rule instinctively. Never step blindly. Shuffle your feet, don't lift them. The so-called stingray shuffle warns the buried animal of approach, giving it a chance to glide away before contact. The danger comes not from aggression, but surprise. When stepped on, the ray reflexively whips its tail, driving a venomous spine upward, a defense, not a strike. The spine itself is an engineering marvel, serrated and coated with a mucus sheath rich in potent toxins. Its purpose is deterrence, not predation. The venom triggers extreme pain, swelling, and tissue necrosis, forcing most potential predators to retreat instantly. For caimans and large fish that might otherwise threaten the ray, this chemical barrier ensures respect. Yet stingrays deploy it rarely. The energy cost of regrowing a lost spine is significant, and the process leaves them vulnerable. Avoidance, not conflict, is their primary rule of survival. Viewed from the water's edge, the habitat appears uniform, but the stingray sees it as structured terrain. Subtle gradients in grain size, current speed and light angle create preferred zones for ambush. Slightly concave depressions trap organic debris, small invertebrates and insect larvae that attract fish. The ray positions itself at these micro-troughs, aligning its body parallel to incoming flow. Even its breathing pattern synchronizes with current rhythm. Spiracles open and close to draw water over the gills while minimizing turbulence above. The result is near-perfect stillness, a predator that waits by listening to the river's electricity. Leaf litter adds another layer to the deception. During seasonal floods, tannin-rich debris drifts from the forest into the margins, staining the water a translucent brown. As it decomposes, it releases pigments that darken both the sand and the ray's dorsal skin. The color match is dynamic. Rays adjust melanin distribution in their chromatophores to blend with local tone. In experiments, individuals transferred from pale sand to darker substrate modify shade within hours. It's not conscious mimicry, but a physiological reaction to ambient light intensity, a feedback loop between environment and skin. The interaction between stingray and environment extends beyond camouflage. Their slow fin pumping reshapes the micro-topography of the shallows. By constantly disturbing sediment, they oxygenate the upper layers of sand, influencing microbial composition and nutrient exchange. In this way, the ray becomes both predator and ecosystem engineer, maintaining the health of the very substrate that hides it. Each motion stirs trapped organic matter into circulation, feeding microorganisms that in turn sustain invertebrates, completing a quiet cycle of renewal. At dawn, the air above the shallows cools faster than the water, creating a faint fog that hovers inches above the surface. Through it, birds wade, herons, jacanas, kingfishers, each step producing pressure waves that radiate outward. The stingray senses these through its lateral line system. Canals running along its disc edges detect mechanical vibration. The pattern of each wave, its frequency and decay, reveals not only the size of the intruder, but its gait. The ray distinguishes a fish darting from a human walking, a heron's stab from a caiman's slide. It reacts accordingly, sometimes gliding away, sometimes freezing deeper into sand. For all its grace, this creature's world is one of constant interpretation, decoding invisible signals in a liquid medium of noise. In these marginal zones, predator and prey overlap with human presence. Fishermen pushing canoes through knee-deep channels often glimpse the brief silhouette of a fleeing ray, a flash of pale underside and a swirl of mud. Locals know to read the signs: circular patches of freshly disturbed sand, slight dimples where eyes were moments before. They respect the invisible carpet, for it guards its territory not through dominance, but through mastery of edges. Even the simple act of walking here demands negotiation, a reminder that the Amazon's borders between safety and hazard are measured in centimeters of silt. As the sun climbs, the rays withdraw to deeper pools, their outlines fading into the tinted glow. The camera follows one as it glides over a bed of sunken leaves. Each fin undulation propels it forward with ghostly smoothness, the disc flexing like a heartbeat. The tail trails behind, long, elegant, deceptive. Its sting is not raised, merely present, a memory of power concealed beneath calm. In cross-section, the animal seems impossibly thin, a living shadow moving across a mosaic of gold and brown. When it finally stops, it exhales through spiracles, stirs the sand once more, and disappears into the shallow's shifting mirror. By afternoon, the riverbank returns to stillness. Only faint trails of suspended silt drift through the water column, marking where the hunters buried themselves anew. To the casual observer, the beach looks empty, a safe stretch of river for wading or washing. But beneath every few meters of sand lies another patient form, invisible and waiting, its senses tuned to the tremors of life above. The shallows are not merely borders between water and land, they are filters between awareness and illusion. And the stingray, master of that space, has perfected the art of vanishing while staying exactly where it needs to be. At first glance, the river appears calm, a glassy corridor winding between curtains of vines and towering saber roots. Beneath that illusion of stillness, however, lies one of the Amazon's most misunderstood predators. Piranhas, caricatured in legend as mindless swarms, are in truth strategic opportunists, hunters that read water texture, current speed and sound as fluently as a jaguar reads scent. In the slow eddies along cut banks, where current scours a vertical wall from the river's own flesh, they practice a kind of hydraulic ambush. Here in the shadow of the bank, the water thickens with oxygen-poor silt and the scent of life struggling to stay afloat. The scene begins with injury. Somewhere upstream, a fish has been grazed by a caiman or wounded by debris. A faint trace of blood seeps into the current, invisible to the eye but instantly legible to the piranha's sensory world. Through specialized pores along their heads, the same ampullary system used by sharks, they detect the dissolved molecules, a chemical whisper that rides downstream like smoke on the wind. But contrary to myth, they do not erupt in frenzy. The scent is merely a signal, not a command. What follows is calculation. The river itself decides the timeline. In fast current, the molecules disperse too quickly to form a trail. But near cut banks, where the water slows and eddies curl back on themselves, the blood plume lingers, dense and directional. One fish veers toward it, silver sides flashing in broken light. It tests the current, orienting head-on, pectoral fins trembling. Around it, others drift closer, not drawn by madness, but by consensus. This is how a school becomes a pack, through shared detection of gradient and opportunity. They circle first, gauging risk. Healthy fish are dangerous targets. A wrong strike can cost teeth or life. But an injured one emits a different pattern, irregular tail beats that produce asymmetric pressure waves. The lateral line system of a piranha can read these vibrations from meters away, distinguishing panic from motion. Once confirmed, tension spreads through the group. The first bite is the hardest. Biologists call it first bite courage. The initiator exposes itself to retaliation. If the wound widens, chemical cues intensify and restraint collapses into collective feeding. Yet even then, what follows is not chaos but sequence. Each fish darts in, severs flesh with triangular teeth, then pivots aside to make room for another. It is assembly line predation, a rotation dictated by efficiency and self-preservation. From the camera's perspective at water level, the scene unfolds like stormlight flickering through the shallows. Scales flash, silt clouds bloom, and the river's sound shifts to a muted hiss of motion. Within seconds, the event is over. What remains is a smear of drifting tissue and a few bubbles rising toward the sunlight. The school disperses again, reabsorbed into the anonymity of current. Piranhas prefer structure, roots, logs, or eroded walls, because these features convert open water into corridors of compression. When prey seeks refuge from predators or low oxygen, it presses against these edges. During the dry season, this dynamic intensifies. As water levels drop, side channels shrink into warm, oxygen-depleted pools. Fish cluster in the shallows, mouths breaking the surface in gasps. The piranhas wait downstream, just beyond sight. Every exhale of a suffocating fish becomes a signal of weakness. They close in, positioning themselves to exploit panic. The physics of the cut bank amplifies this strategy. As the current scours the base of the wall, it creates a counterflow, an upward spiral that slows drift and pins floating debris against the slope. For prey fish, this back eddy seems like shelter from current. In reality, it is the perfect trap. The piranhas align in formation, heads into the eddy, bodies vibrating as they hold station. When the victim enters, they strike upward, using the bank itself as an anvil. Teeth shear through muscle and scale, the current washing loose fragments back into the group. It is the river's version of wolves running prey into cliffs. At night, the rhythm changes. Piranhas, often calmer in daylight, become bolder under darkness. Their eyes, rich in tapetum lucidum, reflect torchlight in eerie crimson. Visibility falls to zero, but sound and pressure remain clear. Small splashes, frogs, insects, even fruit, draw momentary investigation. Yet attacks on humans, contrary to myth, remain rare. Most incidents occur when low water concentrates hungry fish and a disturbance mimics distress. Even then, injuries are superficial. These fish are not the indiscriminate butchers of folklore. They are accountants of opportunity, balancing risk, energy, and hunger with precision. Giant otters, apex predators of the same rivers, often test this balance. When otters drive schools of fish toward banks, piranhas follow the chaos, snatching fragments left behind. The relationship is parasitic but tolerated. Otters occasionally retaliate, swiping at encroaching fish, yet the abundance of prey makes confrontation unnecessary. In this way, predator and scavenger coexist through partitioned efficiency. One hunts by design, the other by aftermath. Daylight brings new pressures. As temperature climbs, dissolved oxygen drops, pushing both predator and prey toward aerated zones near rapids or root tangles. The piranhas form denser schools, their bodies flashing like mirrors beneath the sun's refracted beams. Inside the group, hierarchy softens. Hunger equalizes rank. Individuals jostle but rarely wound each other. Their jaws, though formidable, lock only forward, poor tools for intraspecific combat. The aggression that legends ascribe to cannibalism is usually nutritional triage, a desperate act during drought when no other food remains. Blood in water remains the core myth. Popular imagination exaggerates it into frenzy, but in truth, diffusion physics limits what scent can do. The critical threshold occurs when concentration gradients steepen suddenly, usually within seconds of a bite that releases internal fluids. Before that, even open wounds are ignored. The trigger is chemical density, not simple presence. In clear water, current disperses it too fast. In still pools, it lingers, but decays. The predators wait for that moment of sudden concentration, a brief pulse of certainty in a medium of noise. Viewed from beneath, through a diver's lens, the schooling behavior resembles choreography. Each fish maintains precise spacing, bodies angled at 30 degrees to the current. The pattern allows constant monitoring of neighbors while minimizing hydrodynamic drag. Occasionally, one fish turns sharply, flashing its flank, a silent signal that others adjust to instantly. The coordination recalls flocking birds, a liquid ballet governed by physics rather than intent. In these movements lies their real intelligence, not thought, but responsiveness refined to perfection. Competition defines the river's hierarchy. Piranhas share territory with armored catfish, needlefish, cichlids, and predators far larger than themselves. To survive, they exploit niches no one else claims: the turbulent margins, the microcurrents behind roots, the low oxygen pockets where only the quick can operate. Their laterally compressed bodies slip through branches with surgical precision. Their teeth, interlocking like shears, regenerate continuously. A broken point regrows within weeks, each new edge honed by feeding friction. This regenerative system keeps the pack perpetually armed, even in lean seasons. For humans, coexistence is simpler than myth suggests. Locals swim, bathe, and fish daily in piranha waters without harm. The secret lies in understanding thresholds. Still, shallow coves during drought, where fish are cornered and oxygen scarce, invite risk. The same water, deep and flowing, is safe. The so-called feeding frenzies recorded by explorers were usually provoked by trapped, starving populations reacting to extreme stress. In normal conditions, the river's butchers are cautious professionals, not berserkers. Toward dusk, the surface glows copper beneath overhanging trees. Shadows of bats ripple across the water. The piranhas drift upward, their fins slicing tiny wakes that merge with reflections. An injured fish tumbles from the bank, its silver belly flashing once before sinking. Within seconds, the school shifts direction. They approach not with frenzy, but with patience, a lining beneath the body. The first bite comes from below, quick and surgical, releasing a cloud of fine debris that diffuses downstream. For a moment, the surface boils, soundless from shore, a blur of motion beneath the mirror. Then stillness returns. The current carries away what remains, and the fish scatter back into anonymity. In the end, the piranha is neither villain nor monster, but an instrument of equilibrium. It cleans what others leave unfinished, trims the excess from the river's living mass. Its precision prevents rot, its hunger recycles life. The cut banks bear the record: bones embedded in clay, drift lines of scale, traces of energy converted and released. The legend of mindless slaughter fades when seen through clear water. What remains is something quieter and far more intricate, a hunter that listens to current, obeys chemistry, and turns the physics of flow into its greatest weapon.